Family Guy has never been afraid to push some buttons and offend just about everybody. But sometimes even they can seem to go too far. Whether it's shocking, offensive, hilarious, or just plain weird, Family Guy remains one of the most popular shows out there, so they must be doing something right. We hope you enjoy these crazy moments. Make sure to hit the red subscribe button and ring that bell to keep up with the latest from ScreenRant.
Hey there, babe.
Hey, Brian.
You ready? Got the Smash Mouth queued up in the pre.
It's long been acknowledged Brian is a bit of a creep when it comes to women, but in Scammed Yankees, when he becomes obsessed with seducing Meg's teenage friend Patty, not even the biggest Family Guy fans were safe from that shocker. In the Family Guy writer's room, no topic is too sacred to take aim at. Even Anne Frank. In this scene from season 2, when the Frank family are hiding from the Nazis up in the attic, Peter chooses the moment to munch on some very loud potato chips. The barbershop quartet from season 4 became infamous almost as soon as the episode aired. The 4 dapper men singing a horrible diagnosis to a hospitalized patient really proved how much Family Guy loves to walk that fine line between humor and obscenity. Another totally infamous moment which took audiences by surprise was the time Stewie nearly beat Brian to death after Brian fails to pay him back some money that he owes him. It's a nod to the movie Goodfellas and is seriously brutal. The season 11 episode Turban Cowboy features Peter becoming a terrorist as he drives his car through the Boston Marathon, had the misfortune of airing just 1 month before the brutal bombing of 2013 and was pulled from broadcast. While they could not have known what would happen, the coincidence is shocking. When the Bill Cosby story broke in 2015, there was no shortage of comedians skewering the disgraced former star, and Family Guy was no exception. The family gathers to watch what is announced as The Cosby Show, knowing what we know now, and they spare no expense ripping him to shreds. Despite their stance on Cosby, the show still has no problem writing stories for their resident sex offender, Quagmire, who flips from overzealous ladies' man to terrible lech every episode. Like in season 3, when he stumbles across a bound and gagged teenage cheerleader and thinks to himself, jackpot, yikes. Family Guy gets away with all they do because they pretty much offend everyone across the board. Which is why the moment when we see God revealing his latest invention, the Asian, and proceeding to list every stereotype in the process made it to air with no problems. The entire episode in which Peter gives himself a stroke by eating too many hamburgers is pretty shocking, as Family Guy has never been to shy away from making light of various disabilities, but the moment when a team of rowers pass him shouting stroke, stroke, stroke really takes the cake. With the FCC being the censors who are in charge of what actually makes it to air, it's surprising they allowed the season 4 song The Freakin FCC to make it to television. It's become a classic since airing and does an amazing job at sending up the agency. Maybe the key to getting away with controversial material is to do as Family Guy does, and put it in a song. Another moment that made us both cringe and laugh is the Prom Night Dumpster Baby song, which deals with the most horrifying subject matter in the catchiest way possible. Peter has been making light of Joe's wheelchair situation for years now. Things got pretty ugly in the episode where Peter denies Joe and his friends access to his restaurant to protect his reputation. Joe then forms the Crippletron, and fans watch minute after minute of handicapped jokes. Of all their adventures, when Stewie and Brian travel back to World War II in order to save Mort from the Nazis is a standout. Especially the moment when, in his Nazi disguise, Stewie finds a McCain Palin pin attached to the uniform. It may be years ago, but the moment is no less funny today. Most of the time, Family Guy's truly offensive stuff is reserved for a quick cutaway, but the episode that centers around Quagmire's sister as a victim of domestic abuse and seems to portray her as at fault and even stupid for staying just comes across as tacky. The Griffins are an unusual family to say the least, but the Halloween episode in which Chris and Meg accidentally hook up with one another in the closet of a party during a masked game of Spin the Bottle takes their hijinks to a whole other level. Family Guy has poked fun at Michael J. Fox and has struggled with Parkinson's disease on more than one occasion. But one that stands out is the cutaway in which they depict him as Zorro, with a mess of lines carved into a wall in place of his iconic Z. The Terri Schiavo Musical is such an absurd moment, and another example of how Family Guy loves to push boundaries through song. The elementary school musical about the famous Right to Die legal case from the 1990s contains some seriously shocking lyrics. An early joke about a JFK Pez dispenser is a very classic Family Guy cutaway. A young kid holds up his brand new JFK-headed toy, only to have the head shot off in a police standoff happening nearby. Don't worry though, he still has his Bobby Kennedy intact. We had to include Quagmire again because he's just too dang raunchy. After he discovers he has a daughter and then gives her up to a more suitable family, he turns to Peter and says, "Who knows, maybe I'll see her again in 18 years. I really hope that he doesn't. The time that Family Guy actually brought in the real O.J. Simpson to star in an episode surprised pretty much everybody who saw it. It seems like they're trying to paint him as a stand-up guy, until the very last moment in which he stabs 3 people and disappears. In the originally unaired episode, When You Wish Upon a Weinstein, Peter sings a song called I Need a Jew that really took audiences by surprise and was filled with every stereotype about Jewish people the writers could possibly fit in there. The episode that some believe to be Family Guy's most controversial ever was actually banned in the United States and deals with Lois's struggle with the decision to get an abortion after the family she was surrogating for dies. It is extremely dark, even for Family Guy. In one episode, Stewie and Brian plan to prevent 9/11. They meet other versions of themselves, all with different reasons why they shouldn't do it. They ask one Stewie why. He simply goes, "This is why," and reveals that he has grown breasts and offers no real explanation as to how.
Giggity giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
Well, there they are. Crazy times that Family Guy took us all by surprise. What did you think of these moments? Were any of them too shocking for TV? Or do you think the creators can even go further? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to ScreenRant to stay up to date with our coolest content.